back, folks. A little bit here. Let's see news that I left aside. Trump's plan for troop withdrawals unnerves Pentagon. Somalia, Syria and Afghanistan are among the countries of concern to India's Afghanistan, although my call or my read is I don't think that's going to happen. Another really interesting article. BAE makes case for Tempest fighter jet. Group hopes to unlock further funding commitments despite pressure on military budget. It's a $25 billion that's required for this budget. This is like the top of the line aircraft. India has just done a defense pact with the United Kingdom. I think rather than learn how to start from scratch, I think we should partner and become part of this platform. Another one I saw article, a huge, again like I said, huge big advertisements of Yogi without the Prime Minister. Something tells me daily you're getting news about rapes in UP. At the same time, you're getting all these big ads of how this is land of opportunity. Something in my sense is amiss, and there's a power struggle going on as far as I can see. Another article, as global barriers rise, Chinese she seeks Atam Nirbhar market. Now here's the thing, everybody, the JP Morgan, everybody is going around to town how China's economy has picked up, which it has. It's all Atmanirbhar. It is having no impact on the rest of the world because all it's doing is exporting. The rest of the world is being forced to import. They are not importing anything, so the manufacturing of the rest of the world is really not picked up. So the impact on the global economy continues to be tenuous at best. This is just the wrong growth that we needed. A growth from the United States, on the other hand, would have probably propelled the rest of the world, but this is just one-sided and building the gap even more. What's happening in Canada? Election candidates in Canada outed for links to Beijing. Really about time. Canada, United Kingdom, the entire Commonwealth, the white Commonwealth is finally falling in line. India needs to be part of this game. Now, what's happening in our periphery in a game called We? Newly built village falls within our territory, says China after encroaching Nepali land in Humla district. Welcome to Nepal, Mr. Oli. Thank God, that's why I think he's fired his deputy prime minister. And opposition says Nepalese are suffering. Jeevan Bahadur Shahai, who is the leader of the opposition of Karnali province, said the people in Humla, which is his home district, are suffering due to Chinese presence in the area. China is all over the place, folks. What's happening in Pakistan? Pakistan opposition starts countrywide protests to oust Imran Khan. Let's give him a leg up, folks. Another point that's happening, which is very critical for India to see, Bain's 500 million bet on TMA goes awry. PE funds Chinese partner default to 305 million. Guys, this Trans-Maldivian Airways is what connects the entire archipelago of Maldives and keeps their economy going, because it connects all the resorts. Without this, they're dead. And this also is a tool of surveillance possibility. India should be out there helping in the acquisition of TMA. What's happening in Sri Lanka? Sri Lanka's economic woes. Sri Lanka is increasingly turning to China to help it combat a worsening financial crisis and debt problem. What's happening? Pompeo, the Deputy Secretary of State, went to Bangladesh, but you have, meanwhile, the Hindu reports that the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo may visit Sri Lanka at the end. Sri Lanka, interesting. At the end of October, around the time of a scheduled visit to India. Really interesting. I think this is something that we should take note. More after the break. Welcome back, folks. A little bit on news from the American elections. Watching CNN, one could see the anchors going after, obviously Trump, everybody's going after. Essentially the Democrats asking why Biden wasn't out there campaigning while Trump was all over the place. Apparently he had taken a rest day, that's what I thought, but I'm reading something different. The other thing, obviously, they're going after Biden is why he's not being able to get up and say will he pack the courts or he won't pack the courts. I guess the reason why he's not being able to say it is because I think that will just change the direction of the entire narrative of the campaign. But hey, let's see what happens. But a dull week it seems. Nothing really changed. As you see here, report Trump sets out on campaign blitz in bid to close polling gap with Biden. President set to hold rallies every day until Thursday debate. Both candidates try to woo early voters. And guess what? 25.83 million people have already cast their ballot, which is way above, way above. Some places like Tennessee and Georgia are showing 100% plus greater outcome. The other thing, obviously, as you remember, there was this. I mean, everybody is running after Kamala Harris, and there was this other senator who again outcry as U.S. Senator mocks Harris's name. I mean, I'm not sure what's with this. This is just absolutely not cricket, as they say in India. And Trump is back to his old ways. Lock up Biden, Hillary. Trump tells supporters. But like, I guess it's sounding like Imran Khan's beginning to sound like him too, right? Chidanand Rajghatta writes, Trump loses women voters big time, making him beg. Survey suggests Kamala Biden have record lead over Trump as far as women are concerned. Unbelievable. It says, according to the Center for American Women in Politics at Rutgers University, Biden leads among all women voters by 18.6 percentage points in the 46th national poll. And this could be a game changer for Biden. The youngsters who are generally more liberal and will vote for Biden's ticket, and the demographics are changing, and absolutely if the African American came out in force. And you can see what's happening. Facing grim polls, GOP senators begin to edge away from Trump, right? The first one is President Trump and Senator Thom Tillis trail their Democratic challenger in North Carolina. Governor Roy Cooper, a Democrat, leads his Republican challenger, Lieutenant Governor Dan Forest, more comfortably 51 to 37%. Then you have another thing where it says, over the past week, incumbent Republican senators facing tough re-election fights in Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Maine, Montana, North Carolina, and South Carolina are running behind. These include Senator Martha McSally, Senator Steve Daines of Montana, and McSally was of Arizona, Tillis from North Carolina, Senator Cory Gardner from Colorado, Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, Senator John Ernest of Iowa, and Senator Susan Collins of Maine. All of them have kind of built a gap between themselves and Donald Trump. And he says when President Trump travels to Macon, Georgia tonight for a campaign rally, Republicans will be looking for him to keep more than his own electoral fortunes alive. There is perhaps no other state in which Trump's recent slide in the polls has the potential to do as much collateral damage. In addition to staring down what could be the first presidential defeat in Georgia since 1992, Republicans stand to lose not one but two Senate seats if things don't break their way. One of the things I'm looking at is what we call a 30-30 rule, said Trey Hood, a political scientist at the University of Georgia who directs its Service Research Center. Can a Democratic candidate get 30% of the white vote statewide, and do African Americans constitute 30% of the electorate overall? If you can get to those levels as a Democrat, you've got a pretty good shot at winning. And that's what's happening. The story doesn't just play out along racial lines in Georgia, but also along the demographics where the younger are getting to be a lot more active. And look at what's happening, why everybody keeps going after Kamala Harris. How Biden rose to become cash king of 2020 race. After the announcement of Kamala Harris on the Biden ticket, it just went ballistic. There's a tight race happening in Iowa. A tight race draws Trump to Iowa, seeking a boost support in a state that has become an unexpected battleground. President Trump appeared at a rally in Iowa Wednesday night declaring, nobody's going to do for Iowa what I can do for it. Okay. Then Trump's selling lollipops that Biden's going to be after, is a more pro environments or fracking's in danger. But Trump's fracking jabs seem to be hurting Biden very little in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania continues to be fairly and squarely with Biden right now. The president paints his rival as socialist. Many voters aren't buying it, betting big on a label that isn't denting the popularity of Biden. That's it. Today's polls as of October 17th. And these are running table of all presidential polls released today with newest entries first. Alabama, obviously 20 plus. Trump, Alaska 9 plus. Arizona, Biden 8 plus. California obviously expected, but Colorado 16 plus Biden. Connecticut obviously expected, Delaware expected, District of Columbia expected. US, all polls suggesting between plus 10, plus 13, USC downside. Kaiser family, Biden plus them. All of them are suggesting a fairly serious pull ahead by Biden, and nothing seems to be changed. And somebody says today was mostly a quiet day in the world of polling, but with the results from some pollsters, we don't usually comment on much. So what did we get? Same thing. Florida, Michigan, Biden up. Florida, Biden up. And as somebody says, the polls finally catch up with the news, and they are not good for President Trump. We've talked to a lot recently about how the polls have lagged behind the news. Events were moving as so fast that by the time the polls had measured the state of public opinion after something like a debate, the news had already moved on to the next big thing, like the president's coronavirus diagnosis. Now the news has slowed a bit and the polls are finally caught up. Just before Thursday night's dueling town halls, we were left with an unmistakable picture. The president trails badly, even though his negative news cycles like the first debate for his coronavirus hospitalization are well in the rearview mirror. Extremely interesting, folks. So nothing changed over the weekend for Trump. He's going up and down. I think, however, as they say, the campaign manager of our Democrats suggests, you cannot let the guard down because they are too close to call. There is anything that can happen at this stage. What's good for India? We don't know. Either way, we got to watch, and our MEA has to be able to come up with the goodies just in case the Democrats take the Senate as it looks now, improves its position in the Congress, and wins the presidency. Jai Hind.
Think of natural products. Think of Sada Jeevan.